Good morning. My name is Chris Fox, and today we're talking about trajectory and kind of why it matters, like how setting your trajectory is going to determine your future, especially your future as an author. If you really want to succeed as an author, you have control over this. And I want to give you a powerful example that I first learned from Tony Robbins forever and a day ago in some CDs that I bought from him. And the example he used is if a plane takes off from Los Angeles and flies towards Honolulu and it's off by 1 degree, it's not ever going to arrive. It's going to be out in the middle of the ocean somewhere. And the further it's going, the further off course it'll get. So if you don't set your trajectory correctly, you're in trouble. And in the case of writers, oftentimes the number one problem we run into is we're not writing. We're not actually getting words down. So you need to make sure you get words down, and your trajectory is going to be determined by your ability to do this. So let me give you an example. Let's say every morning before you go to work, you've got a half-hour window where you can do whatever you want. It's not crammed with whatever. Maybe you're just standing on the subway, but whatever. You've got a 30-minute window where no one's bothering you and you can do whatever you want. And so this is your sanctuary, and every morning you're spending like a half hour on your phone browsing Facebook. That's a valuable activity in the sense that it's recharging you. And then if we don't have some sort of solace and comfort, we're what's the point of living? And if that's your only window, I'm not suggesting you close that. But if there are other ways that you can sort of keep your balance, maybe you could sacrifice that one window. And what would your trajectory look like if you did that? So over the course of a year, let's say your trajectory is flat. So you're like, just cruising along like that. Well, if you alter that trajectory a degree, or 2 degrees, or 5 degrees, or 45 degrees, if you just keep, altering it upwards, over time, it magnifies how far you get. So in this case, let's say you write 500 words a day during that time period. Every morning during that half hour when you used to browse Facebook, you write 500 words. You get to a point where it only takes you like 10 to 15 minutes, and you still get to spend the rest of the time on Facebook, but now you know I wrote those 500 words. Well, over the course of a year, that's 180,000 words. You get 5 days off. 180,000 words. The longest novel I have is 130,000 words. And most of them are about 60. So I have some that are longer, but if you're looking at some of the shorter ones, 60,000 is a decent clip. So in the Void Wraith series, that'd be the first 3 books. You could write 3 novels or 1 really long epic fantasy doorstopper by the end of a year. And all you have to do to change your trajectory is, I'm doing 500 words a day. That's it. That's it. You don't have anything else that you have to do beyond that. But what you'll find is once you start realizing that you're getting that momentum, like let's say you do it for 3 weeks and you've gotten a bunch of words and you're seeing how it works, maybe you're like, oh man, I want to do 1,000 words a day. And over time, you're going to keep trying to raise that trajectory, but being cognizant of it is critical. And I mean, it seems like a simple concept to me now, but I didn't get it. And when the light bulb went on, when I watched that, or when I listened to that Tony Robbins CD, it was huge. I was like, my God, that makes so much sense. My daily actions are going to determine where I go. If you take in an extra 500 calories every single day, that's not, a big deal for one day. But if you're doing that for a year, now all of a sudden you're putting on a bunch of pounds over the course of a year. Like you're not in equilibrium. So your trajectory matters and you need to change it. If you reduce your calories by, let's say, 700 a day and you were, off by 500, now you're losing 200 a day. And over time you will lose weight. Your trajectory is moved in a positive direction and you're kind of getting closer to where you want to be. But it's about making those micro changes in the habits that we do every single day and the things that you're going to repeat over and over and over. You've got to make sure that those things each day are set in a way that give you a positive trajectory. Because if they're not, you're really not going to like where you end up in a year or 5 years or 10 years. But if, on the other hand, you do change that, then all of a sudden you can flip the switch and, flip the script rather, and everything that you want you can have. I mean, I've seen so many people come out of left field, spend 2-3 hours toiling 2 or 3 years toiling in the trenches as authors, put out a few books, it's not working, they've no idea what's going on, and all of a sudden they figure it out. They get it all to kind of, gel together. And they do that usually by changing their trajectory. So most of those authors were like here, and maybe they were improving a little bit and they were getting some words down, but they just weren't doing that much. And they ratcheted it up to here, and all of a sudden they see, wow, after 6 months I have a different career. So it's about what you're getting done every day and sort of, how you're setting that trajectory. And the reason why we have daily quotas, and in my case that's 5,000 words, is if we're not hitting that, I'm not on that trajectory I want. This is like a 1,000 word a day trajectory, and I don't want to be there. I want to be here. So, give it some thought. Anyway, hopefully this video is useful. If it is, please let me know in the comments. I do need to get back to the writing. The role-playing game you guys have heard about over and over and over is finally a reality. And as you are watching this video, it's probably live for sale on DriveThruRPG, and the hardcover book is going to be in testing. So I have like a copy of it being shipped to me so that I can make sure that it looks good before we send it out to Kickstarter backers. That's been a hugely rewarding process, and I need to focus on that. Writing-wise, things are going great as well. I'll have an update video for my fiction people in the near future. I know a lot of you are on both lists. Anyway, I am going to get back to the writing. If you have questions, guys, about writing in general, I also want to invite you to ask those in the comments. Lots of people have been doing that. I've been having some interesting conversations. So if there's something that's not covered in a video and you want to know about it, or there's a video idea that you'd like to see covered, can't guarantee I'll get to everything, but if something strikes my interest, I'll definitely make a video about it. Anyway, guys, I will talk to you later, and I'll see you next week.